Back so soon? Oh no, what happened?
A little incident at the dog park. We gotta head to the vet.
Oh, not again. These bills.
We can use CashNet USA. We can apply in minutes, get a fast decision, and have the money in the account as soon as the same business day. All right, Cheddar, back in the car.
When you need money fast, be the hero. All loans subject to lender approval. Speed of funding is subject to verifications and your bank's processing times. See CashNetUSA.com for more details.
Hey, this is Will Arnett, host of Smartless. Smartless is a podcast with myself and Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, where each week one of us reveals a mystery guest to the other two. We dive deep with guests that you love, like Bill Hader, Selena Gomez, Jennifer Aniston, David Beckham, Kristen Stewart, and tons more. So join us for a genuinely improvised and authentic conversation filled with laughter and newfound knowledge to feed the smartless mind. Listen to Smartless now on the SiriusXM app. Download it today.
Hello, my saucy, pert, and greasy friends. You are listening to a recording from our weekly live stream, which is on twitch.tv/LPNTV. This is just news of the week that we talk about, and it goes up to our feed after we record it. This is not a part of the LDS main season episodes, but please hang out and listen to us chatter along, and then check out our regular episodes as well. Thank you. Enjoy. Winds could be ghosts.
Winds could be ghosts. It was very windy yesterday, and it knocked over a mirror I had outside and like a memorabilia from my friend's friend who died, and everything. It was really windy and it was spooky, and it's daylight savings, so it was really dark. And I was like putting salt around my door, just being like, no spirits may enter, and it was just windy.
I mean, what if wind is ghosts? Prove it. Somebody prove that wind isn't ghosts.
Right. I mean, a lot of people have died. You know, there've been billions of people throughout all humanity. Lots of peasants, lots of farmers, and they just...
Yeah, maybe there wasn't any wind before the first person died.
Oh my God, Natalie, there's no wind before Adam and Eve.
No, there wasn't.
As we all know, that's accurate.
Yeah. Hello, welcome someplace underneath. I'm Natalie Jean.
I'm Amber Nelson.
Hi, everybody.
Abolish daylight savings. That's right. Do you know that...
Or no, stay in daylight savings.
Stay in daylight savings. Do you know that Arizona doesn't have daylight savings? And I thought it's because, they're such a mystical state. They obviously don't abide by the rules of the sun and moon, and they just don't acknowledge it.
Well, yeah, because daylight savings doesn't abide by the sun and moon either. We just made it up. You know what I mean? I'm not sure why or how Arizona escaped this burden that we lay upon ourselves.
Well, it's from farmers. I think farmers started daylight savings, and I don't know what crop can grow in Arizona.
You think it's because it's too dusty?
Maybe it's just too dusty. They never had a bunch of farmers.
Guys,
what can grow in Arizona? Come on. Be real. Pumpkins?
Just trust us.
Just trust us.
Don't look it up.
Just trust us. We're the news, okay?
We're the news. Hopefully, this is where you go to learn about all of the facts of the day.
That's right. Oh, Louis Lawson Houseplant says Germans made it up during World War I. We must take the clocks and set them forward and set them back.
It's really unfair that Halloween, daylight savings time, and the election all in the same 7 days may hemorrhage. I feel like maybe we have to have that happen this year so that we can just be like, wait, what? Okay, everything's going to happen and then it's going to be over. And then you just go, okay, we passed it. We got through that time.
Right.
It's over now.
It's kind of like give it to me. Like when someone's like, I got good news and I got bad news.
Like, fucking do it.
Or the worst is whenever they're like, I got a secret, but I can't tell you now. I'm like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, just
tell me now.
Don't say it unless you know you want to say the secret. You're not going to say, I have a secret I can't tell you, unless you want to just say the secret.
No, were we in fourth grade? I didn't even do that shit in fourth grade. I got a secret I can't tell you. I can't tell you now, though.
You didn't? Do you think you didn't
No,
do
I
that?
didn't. I never did that shit. I was always a mature woman.
I guess.
Pregnant at 12.
No, you were not. Weren't you in Saudi? No, you were out of Saudi Arabia.
I was out of there then. Yeah. No, I wasn't pregnant at 12. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Welcome
Okay,
to the
wait.
show.
We have so many things to cover this week, and oh yeah, Demon Lemurnick, we saw you. That's right. Hi, buddy. We saw you at the show. What's going on? Good to see you. Demon Lemurnick was at the last podcast show on
Thursday. That was so much fun.
Saturday.
Saturday. That was so much fun. If last podcast people are coming to your neck of the woods, I would recommend buying a ticket and sitting there and applauding.
This year's tour, their show is really, really good.
It's really good.
It really is.
And we got a lot of show for you tonight. So
my
sit back,
God.
grab your cooters, and let's get it growing.
I'm wearing a corset and the shirt and the sticker because I'm just trying to represent my version of womanhood.
That's right. I don't think you could wear that in the voting booth because you're not allowed to wear, like presidential stuff in the voting booth.
This shirt?
No.
So, I mean, you're not wrong, but are you saying only one party believes women have autonomy?
Yeah.
Okay.
Capricorn's Horn says, "Can I just say you both look gorgeous tonight? Daylight savings, election, and all other horrors aside. Thank you so much,
Thank you
darling."
so much. Is it the weariness in my? I'm so tired. I had a big Halloween thing we did, and I'm still recovering from it. And I think maybe it's this sort of drugged look that I have that looks good on a woman. You know, where you're just like, I don't know what's going on.
I don't know. I don't have any opinions.
I don't know.
Just prop me up in the basement. Yes, it's not endorsing a specific candidate. So maybe you're right, Carrie Jo.
No, I love that because you're not wrong.
Right, because there was a guy that was wearing some kind of hat, and he was asked to please take it off, and he fought the poll worker.
Did you see the one woman who was wearing the gentleman who's running? She was wearing one of his shirts, and they asked her to take it off, and she freaked out and ripped her shirt off and waited in her bra. An older woman. If it was for any other reason, I would think it was kind of fun.
Yeah, can I vote in the nude? Can my clit hold the pen?
She did say that. I think she said, "Suck my clit," which is
I want her
hilarious.
running to be president because I was talking to somebody the other day, and I'm tired of like ladies running for presidency and having to be like, well, we go low, they go low, we go high, like, and just being like a decorum.
Yeah.
Can a woman just come on the stage and be like, "What's up, you fucking cunts?" And then like, "I'm running for president," crack open a beer and tell everyone to go fuck themselves. Like, can we do that?
I mean,
Can she have like a criminal record and we're all just kind of like, well, prove it.
you know, sometimes you have to be a little bit of a criminal to be
One with the big dogs.
I don't. Whatever you have to get through.
Grab
the
him
day.
by the cocks. You know what I mean? All right, we got a lot of show. We got a lot of show tonight.
Okay. I want to start off briefly. Obviously, we all know what week it is. Please vote if you have not. Please, 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 please. That's all I'm going to say. I wanted to bring up this one video that has been going around on the social media sphere this week because I just think it's important for this week to talk about some of the things that come up in this conversation. So
Right.
let's just play this real quick.
I would love to be a stay-at-home mom. I would love to be a homemaker and a wife. I would love to be able to live on a homestead and go milk my cow and take the eggs out of the chicken coop and have one baby in the belly and on my hip and another toddler coming behind me. That's like my dream, but I can't fucking do that because the way the economy is set up is I'm forced to work. I'm forced to get an education, a higher education, a college degree in order to make enough money that I can be financially independent and afford my own home or my own rent or my own gas or my own groceries, my own insurance. And it's extremely difficult to do that. And it's very isolating as a woman when you have to do all of that all on your own and you can't find somebody that you can outsource some of those chores and financial responsibilities like you would with a spouse. So no, being a single working woman absolutely sucks. It's the worst thing ever. I hate it. I would go back to the 1950s in a second just so I wouldn't have to deal with this shit.
You're talking about a traditional nuclear family where the woman doesn't work in a married household with kids.
And statistically, that was the case.
You're a single woman who
Yeah.
isn't married with kids yet.
Yeah,
Because
so I'm
the way our
for because
system
of the way
is.
it is. Most women were married by the age of 21 up until the 1970s.
I think it's a woman's choice. Before that, it was societally encouraged to marry young.
Yeah, and it was better for women mental health-wise long term to be able to go into that long-term committed relationship and have the established family instead of being forced to slave away for a corporation that doesn't like you, doesn't care about you, makes you sit under fluorescent lights for 8, 9, 10 hours a day. You get a lunch break, you get health insurance, but do you have somebody who loves you staring at you every day like your child? No, it's horrible.
I mean, first of all, fluorescent lights do suck. I get a
Ooh,
girl
they suck.
bipartisan issue. Horrible. Boo. Lunch break. No.
Also, how dare you, James, make me sit here under these lights all day? How dare you do that?
Get back to work.
Okay, no, I wanted to say quickly about that young woman. There is nothing wrong with wanting that life, right? There's nothing wrong.
No, she can go off and go marry a farmer right now.
Yeah, and I also
now.
think it's valid to say, yeah, the economy is not good. It's really unaffordable to do a lot of things, right? I think the issue comes into play, and which is why I wanted to bring this up, the issue of saying, I'd like to go back to the 1950s. Of course, this is not new rhetoric. We hear that a lot.
No.
Saying like, I don't know, make America great again or something. So I think that the problem comes in when you say you idealize this time period of the nuclear family being when women were happiest and most at peace, which of course is very easily disprovable. And I think maybe she's sort of conflating stressors in modern society with feminism, right? So there's reasons why most women were married at 21 before the 70s, and it was mostly because there was no other option. That was what they had to do for a number of reasons, right? I think that a woman should have every reasonable choice that she can make to get to a lifestyle. If she wants to raise kids on a homestead and be with a husband and do all that stuff, there's nothing wrong with that. And that's in fact great.
And she's also making it seem like that's impossible to happen now. It can happen now, but probably not with the kind of guy that she wants. Let's be honest. It's going to be in the middle of nowhere.
Yes,
and she's not going to be incredibly wealthy. Probably.
Sure. And I sympathize with her frustrations about where she is in her life. But I think it's important to not forget why certain things happened prior to the 1970s. So I just wanted to very briefly bring up a couple stats here. So the year that a woman could open a bank account without getting permission from her husband or perhaps her father, or could be discriminated against to get a bank account, was the year 1974. So a lot of our moms and or grandmothers were already adults at that time when that happened, right? Oh, the year a woman could own a business without a man was the year 1988. 1988 was the first year that a woman could own her own business without her father helping her or without her husband agreeing to sign for something. The year that a woman could get a credit card and not be discriminated against for being a woman and not have to have her father or her husband sign for her credit card was in 1974. The year that a woman could get a no-fault divorce in California, the first state, was 1969.
Marital rape was the 90s?
So
when that was considered wrong to rape your wife?
Yes, I actually pulled that one up too.
Oh,
so
good.
What year could a woman claim marital rape? And the first state to make that legal was 1976, but not until it was not until 1993 that all 50 states recognized that a woman could be raped by her husband, or vice versa. Either way, but
see, people they're going to equate all of this with the downfall of society, but sort of the downfall that we're in. I don't know, maybe because Wall Street keeps printing out money and then getting bailed out for it. Churches are untaxed. Billionaires are just hoarding wealth, taking money, stocking it overseas, not putting it back into the American economy. That's a bigger part than women can own a business, can start something.
Right, and I think that you are allowed to complain about certain aspects of society, but the reason all women were getting married at that age was because they literally could not do anything without being married or their father helping them. And we both have many of our older relatives who got married young and experienced extreme consequences from that and did it because they had no other choice but to get married. And then stuff happened, like they got pushed down the stairs. And then when they filed for divorce from that spouse, got kicked out of their church for having a divorce.
Right,
and
forced to get electroshock therapy because your husband was molesting his own children.
That is a real thing that happened.
I can sort of say, why am I laughing? Firsthand accounts of that. And you know what? Let's go back to that.
Yeah, let's go
That'll
back.
help the economy. I think
That'll
if
help
we
the economy,
lobotomize
right.
more women, that will stimulate the economy with the electroshocks going through my fucking dome.
It's not because we're not watching over billionaires and letting them just like run rampant, run train on our government. That's definitely not why the economy's a mess. So I just think it's important to remember those things because history will always repeat itself. I get her frustration, but to say that she is forced into college, forced into a career
She's making it
is
seem
not
like-
the same thing as what was happening prior to the 70s, which was literally like, you do this or you will be a homeless person because
Right.
you cannot buy a house, you
They
can't
were
rent
forced
it.
into it.
Yeah, you can't rent an apartment, you can't open your own business, you can't have your own bank account. That's why they got married really young. So I just would like to make that really clear, and we need to remember that.
And also, this sort of idealistic 1950s, it was a very small part of the world history because women have always worked. Original brewmakers were women. For example, it's just this whole like you stay at home and like take care of the kids. Women would put kids to their backs or just kind of tie them to a post.
I think kids did get tied to a post
They
a lot.
get tied to posts. Like that's how you. Is this what you want to go back to?
Oh my God, what was the movie called? What's the one that just came out, the horror movie? Somebody saw it, The Witch's Cauldron? No, Women's Cauldron. It's a really good folk horror movie that just came out that was about a real time period in, I think, the 17th, 16th century, where women, because committing to die by unaliving yourself at the time was considered an unforgivable sin that you would go to hell for. But if you committed a unaliving of somebody else, you could ask for forgiveness before they executed you. And so there was this rash of women who would unalive their children so that they could have the priest forgive them so that they could go to heaven because they just wanted to, they hated their lives so much and they didn't want to go to hell forever. This is a fun little
That's
movie.
cool.
I wish that I could, does anybody in the chat?
I saw it today on Reddit.
You saw that today on Reddit, Tirzo? Yeah. That's so funny.
Right. So also, right now in Sudan, I know we didn't discuss this previously. What's she gonna say? But 100 women just unalive themselves because it's a war and they don't want to be raped. The war, I know I'd have to talk about it, and it's a lot of Sudanese politics that I don't understand. But I do know that over 100 women just off themselves. So
Tell us about the war.
Tell us about the war in Sudan, Amber. I'll let you know.
No, that's horrifying.
Yeah.
Very, very, very sad.
Yeah, so these are...
I would potentially also do that as opposed to the other option, but...
The Devil's Bath.
The Devil's Bath, thank you. The movie's called The Devil's Bath. I think I kind of... Was that a spoiler? It's not really, guys. It's like a folk horror. It's not really spoiling
Right.
anything.
So I feel like we're all over the place.
Okay, we are. We have so many thoughts today, guys.
Well, oh yeah. Next we have a woman who has been missing for about a month in Southern California. Let's pull up her picture. I want to get her name and everything right for her. Kimberly Casarubias, 18. September 18th, she went missing in Southern California. She does have a history of some mental health concerns, so she is considered at risk. But she was last seen on West 226th Street in Torrance, California. She is 4'11", weighs about 130 pounds. Black hair, brown eyes, has scars on her forearms, red and white hair, and has red Puma brand shoes. So her family,
small.
she's very small. Her family is asking if you have any details, please call the number if I can get it for you. Crime Stoppers at 1-800-222-8477.
Oh, I hope the best
she's
for her and her
found.
family.
But
That's
on the
so
show,
sad.
yeah, we do highlight people that are missing, and if you see anything, please give the number a call.
In Torrance, yeah. I mean, obviously that can, if somebody goes missing somewhere, they can go far very quickly. But well, I hope for the best for her. It's from September, right?
Yeah, it's been about a month, but her, the longer it waits, it's getting colder. So let's figure this out. All right. So spinster is a word for an older unmarried woman because spinning was a stable, if not super well-paying job that single women could support themselves within the Middle Ages. See, again, women have always worked.
Thank you, Lightning Gale Plays, for sure.
All right.
So, yes, guys, I know we're going all over the place. There's a lot going on in the world right now. So I wanted to bring this up because for many reasons, one of the things we cover on this show quite a bit is corruption within the police and with, positions of power, right? So there is this area of Florida. We get so many Florida stories, and it's not intentional. Partly it is the Sunshine State laws, but also some's in the water, I guess, over there. But there is a very well-known judge, if you watch any sort of true crime content. His name is Sheriff Grady. We've probably talked about him because he does these very big, he's very popular online because he does these sort of cartoonish exposés of the people they've arrested for child abuse and stuff like that, which is great. We want them to go to jail and be caught and be off this, away from kids and hurting them. But he's very much a showman about it. And this is not to criticize him, although this is a very horrible thing that happened in his jurisdiction. But I think we all have blind spots, right? And I've heard some things about this guy. If you guys are familiar with him, you probably know what I'm talking about. He's a judge who brings headshots up and he talks he does all these press conferences and he goes, and look at this guy, look at what he did and all this stuff. I've heard some other things about some of his blind spots that he might have, as far as he's very supportive of the troubled teen industry and things like that. So it's not like he's doing good stuff all the time, in my opinion, but this is a case that came out of his jurisdiction, and it is about a young girl whose name is Taylor, and she, do you want to pull the article up? I think we have one before the videos, yeah. So she is a young girl who was in foster care and then was being cared for by her family. Her extended family was being abused in the home, and she essentially had to collect her own evidence because the police force said she was lying. And so as a little girl had to collect her own evidence to then provide to them. So I wanted to just talk about this story a little bit. I have some video of PBS put out a really good short special about it.
Collecting your own evidence in a crime is the 9th layer of hell.
Especially as she's a kid. She's a little kid.
Bad things are happening, and now you're expecting me to take a moment of breath and look around with pure logic and record everything perfectly, videotape everything, and it's got to be perfect and specific, or else I'm in trouble.
Yeah. Why don't we play the first clip?
In the fastest growing county in America, Polk County, Florida, its longest serving sheriff, Grady Judd, has a large media presence and delivers unapologetic, tough on crime messages, like this one about an armed man involved in a car chase.
And he chose to die in a gunfight. We accommodated him. He said he wanted to go to heaven. We made the arrangements for him.
But Taylor Cadle's extraordinary case raises questions about how, despite Sheriff Judd's tough-on-crime rhetoric, his department treated a child victim as a criminal.
Nothing that I did was I in the wrong. At all.
Taylor had a traumatic childhood. The state took her away from her birth mother when she was 7 due to violence and neglect at home. After a year and a half in foster care, she was adopted by her great-uncle, Henry Cadle, and his wife. But within months, she says he began sexually abusing her.
I kept it secret because going through foster care, it was already so much of a traumatic experience that I was scared to go back.
Over the next 3 years, she says Henry Cadle used long car rides to abuse her off this road. One day in 2016, Taylor disclosed the abuse to an adult member of her church, which launched an investigation by multiple agencies.
Yeah, so if you didn't catch that, the perpetrator is her uncle, who adopted her, which is always fun. I wanted to bring this up because, as we'll see in the next couple little clips, kind of what happened to this kid, something that you would have been like, oh yeah, this must have happened in 1991 or something, but it wasn't. It was 2016. And they were lucky enough. First off, this chick is an unbelievable badass to be willing to do this over and over again after what they do to her. But they were lucky enough to be able to capture and release like some of the body cam audio and things like that happened to her with the police. So let's just go to the second clip here.
That week, Taylor was asked to recount what happened to her several times. In a recorded interview with a child welfare worker, she went into detail, hoping she'd be believed.
And he pulled over on the side of the road and told me to get the front seat.
But in a separate interview recorded by Sheriff's Detective Melissa Turnage, the tone turned confrontational.
If you're mad because you got your phone taken away, let's say that now and be done with it.
From the get-go, she was rude. Simple terms, rude. When she continuously asked me the same question over and over, I almost told her she should probably write down what I'm saying because I didn't feel like she was listening.
Turnage treated Taylor less like a victim and more like a suspect.
Do you want to go live back in foster care? Because more than likely, if he's arrested, they're not going to let you stay there. But if it's not the truth, you're fixing to hurt a lot of people.
Everything I told you earlier is not a lie.
Still, Turnage concluded that Taylor made it up. The detective wrote that she couldn't find Henry Cadle on gas station security footage buying condoms like Taylor said he had. And she couldn't pinpoint the location of the assault on that long stretch of road.
Every interview that we talked, she made me out to be a liar. And I told her time and time and time and time again that I am not the liar here.
There is no excuse for the manner in which this case was handled.
Jerry Seitz, a forensic expert who's worked with thousands of child abuse cases, listened to the interviews between Turnage and Taylor. She says Turnage's techniques were inappropriate, especially because very few children, less than 4%, fabricate stories of sexual abuse.
Yeah, so a couple things there. The children fabricating things. I think that there's a level of, if they have this case, right? So this girl has come forward with this information. It's one thing to then say, as the police force, as much as we want to do something, we don't know, we can't find evidence, we can't prove this. And it's another thing to then have that detective doing the thing that they try to when they try to coerce confessions out of people to that child, going, are you sure? Are you sure that's what happened? If you do this, it's going to mess up a lot of people's lives. Are you sure about that? Is it because you didn't get your phone? Like, just sounding irritated with her trying to talk about this. That's not the same thing as a police department being like, we simply can't. We want to do this, but we can't.
It's also a little girl alone in a room being interrogated
for a thing that happened to her.
She's just crying, and the judge is judge. She's acting like a judge. The cop is just like, well, you sure? You sure about that?
I mean, literally, that's what's happening. And I know that we ourselves have, I think that was the second season, covered a case of a little girl who I don't think was making things up, but I believe she was being coached by a parent who, I'm not naming any other names because she was missing, but she has been found. And it does happen where sometimes children are coached to say things. There's no evidence that is the case here, and that is extremely rare. And so the fact that they were, the way that it was addressed is so bizarre to me, and it makes me wonder who her uncle was or is in that community, because it almost seemed like that detective was taking it personally for some reason.
Right. This story, now think of it, hits home. I was at 13 grilled by an older woman about something I said that a guy did, a boy. Nothing to me, thank God, but just the way that she treated me like I was an adult, but infantilized him, who was actually the perpetrator, because she had some personal thing with him. I don't want to make this about me. I'm so sorry.
No, it's just not.
So weird how 13-year-old girls are treated as an adult sometimes.
Yeah. And yes, exactly. Tempest Pax is why I'm bringing this up. When people say, why didn't you tell anybody? Let's just watch what happened next to this little girl after she did this, if you want to play the third clip.
Instead of Henry Cadle going to court, 13-year-old Taylor faced a judge for a charge of lying to police. She had no lawyer, only her adoptive mother, Henry Cadle's wife.
I walked into that courtroom, scared out of my mind, and my mom told me in the car to just plead guilty and get it over with.
She was sentenced to 1 year of probation with community service. She also had to write 2 apology letters, one to her abuser and the other to a sheriff's officer. Taylor's experience is like hundreds of sexual assault cases I found nationwide as part of a years-long investigation into police charging alleged victims with lying. Due to privacy laws, I could find only a handful involving children, one as young as 11.
Yeah, that 11-year-old one, that's a whole nother case I looked up after I watched this video, and that, it's really, really upsetting. The 11-year-old was being called, what's the word, when you're easy? Like
Jezebel?
being called like
harlot. A harlot?
Or just like what's it when you have sex all the time? People call you like basically calling the 11-year-old. The police are calling the 11-year-old promiscuous. Yeah, it's fun.
The weed wife says, I work with a lot of survivors of child abuse, and I literally cannot even imagine talking to them like this.
I know.
Expecting them to share their trauma with me. Unhinged. Also, if a kid tells me they're being abused and I find out they made it up, I'm still extremely concerned about the child. It's still a cry for help in some way. It's so fucked.
Absolutely. 100% the weed wife. Like, I can't even imagine how I admire the work you do. I can't imagine how hard that is. And exactly, if it turns out that something wasn't true, there's something going on. You know, it's not like a kid is just going to be like sadistic about it or something. And this kid wasn't, by the way, making it up. But yes, and I wanted to say Gonzalo Valdez 4077, she does still have a badge. She's still working for the department under that judge, under the Grady Judd guy. And they won't comment on this, but so they charged her with making a story up, put her on probation. She then had to write an apology letter to her rapist and then go back to live with him to continue to be raped for another long time period.
For like a year, right?
Let's watch the final clip of this.
Using her cell phone, 13-year-old Taylor made sure she got bulletproof evidence this time.
She had taken some photographs with her phone. She also took pictures of an empty condom box, as well as the clock on the vehicle, and then a short video of what appears to be the suspect walking around the truck.
Just like last time, she detailed the abuse to a child welfare worker, but with one big difference.
Everything that they didn't find evidence for last time, I kind of tried to make sure that it was there this time, just so that way my story would get believed.
The photos she took with her phone were graphic.
So it was very shocking to see that, very sad, but a fantastic thing that she was able to collect it.
In Henry Cadle's recorded statement to Dempsey, he was adamant he was innocent.
I got the impression that because of the previous investigation and the result of it, that he felt somewhat secure. But I want to ask you plainly, did you touch her?
No, hell no.
Now's the time to tell me, so I can get out in front of it. We can try to handle, figure out what's going on.
No, nothing happened.
At 4:30 a.m., the detective confronted Henry Cadle with the evidence.
Hey, Henry. Hey. You wanted to see what I got here? The pictures?
Sure.
See this?
Okay. Okay.
Do you know who that is?
Yeah.
Who?
It's me.
Henry Cadle was sentenced to 17 years in prison for sexual battery of a minor.
I like how we said, it's me, like it was a birthday surprise. It's me!
It's me!
I did it, it's me!
So I think the reason I wanted to just play that little clip of him talking is because guys or people like that, he was adamant, confidently angry that anyone would even suggest.
Gosh, it's almost like people that abuse others are a little bit of a psychopath.
Yeah.
Who would have thought?
Yeah. And so obviously, if somebody hasn't done something, they're going to be emotional and reactive to it, of course. But I don't know. To me, I would feel as though if it was a child in my life, I would be devastated much more than like furious with them and like angry in that way. But regardless, this guy and sometimes other people who do stuff like this were, adamantly no. And then it's like, well, here's the evidence. And they went like, oh, it's me.
It's me.
So she ended up getting that guy put away, which is great. 17 years is a decent amount for the crime. It shouldn't be exceptional, that's that time, and he won't spend that much time in jail because you never do.
I hate that she had to take photos that included herself because that's like almost becoming the perpetrator of herself and like the third view with the phone because the pictures live on forever, I guess. And then to just also show adults, like, here is me naked.
Right.
Against my will, but I guess my face has to be in it.
Yeah.
For you to believe me.
And there's kind of questions when this stuff happens again, like, who was that? They've never, as far as I could find any article, they did not acknowledge who her uncle was in the community. Was he somebody who was high up somewhere? Was he respected? Did he have something to do with the police? Because that stuff happens, that stuff matters. And sometimes if they have a connection, they want it to go away. And they get mad at her. Like that little girl they were mad at her for bringing this up repeatedly. And she, unfortunately, had to do the thing that, like, I don't know how most like adult people would have the courage to take videos of that. Like she just didn't want to be in that situation so badly. She was like, okay.
And she can't.
I'll solve it for you, I guess.
Yeah. So the Weed Wife brings up a topic for our unfortunate next video, but she says the sad thing is, you want to learn about my job? The sad thing about my job, we think most people who assault or harm children are psychopaths. Unfortunately, they are not. They're your neighbor, the guy at the grocery store, the most average people in the world in many respects.
Which is definitely what we talk about. We're about to talk about this, but we talk about on the show about human trafficking. A lot of times it's a family member. A lot of times it's a neighbor, a church leader, a soccer coach. Not to be afraid of everyone, not because everybody's a villain, but there are things that maybe you don't think you should be looking for that we are told, like, you're going to get snatched and taken away to, a cave somewhere. And that does happen, but usually it's actually much more insidious. It's what we've talked about with Madeline Soto all of these weeks, that she was going to school. She was, people hung out with her. People saw her, and she was being trafficked and sold as content for years. 5 years of her life before that piece of shit took her life. And so this is the thing we were going to bring up too from that. Speaking of uncle touchers.
Uncle touchers, it could be anybody, usually people close.
Yeah, so this guy, we had both separately seen this case. A guy, this sucks, guys. I don't even like.
He's in jail.
He's in jail, but.
He's in jail. He's put away for 18 years, I believe. But he knows how to manipulate AI. And unfortunately, artificial intelligence is only a tool that's going to get more and more insidious, also more and more intelligent, right? So it's good to talk about it now. But
more like artificial dumbass.
Artificial dumbass. That's right, Natalie. That's good.
I mean, it's just funny.
Good job.
Yeah. No, you're right.
But yeah, so he was a computer nerd, and he would be contacted by a lot of men.
Probably women too.
But he says dads, fathers, uncles. We'll say it's maybe some. I don't know.
Guys, this is really dark. I'm really sorry.
This is really dark, but
it's important to know, if you are a young person or if you have children, to really consider when you're putting them on the internet. Just like, I know we say this all the time, but please just think about how and when you're putting your kids online.
That's right, because he would take He was commissioned by family members of people of like, here's a child, at a pool or just at brunch, something very innocuous.
This is very triggering, guys.
And they would put them in sexual scenarios. And it was done by their family. He's now in jail, but this is again.
Yeah, and it was not exclusively family members. It was people pulling images of kids from people's social media accounts and paying this man to create AI of these people, of these little babies and kids doing stuff that is
against their will.
He was arrested. Do you want to pull the article up of that guy? You can just see his beautiful face. So it's this fucking trash heap. He created a dark web business where people would reach out with these requests, and through the investigation of this guy, they discovered that a number of people who asked for commissions from him were doing so of their family members or of their children, of their nieces and nephews, of their cousins. So that is to say, again, I'm not trying to fearmonger. Like, most people are not doing this. Most people are not being this way. Most people are not acting like this. But if we have control over some aspects of safety of our kids, just really consider what's going online. That's all.
Right. We'll go to the video in a bit, but he's in the police station and he's like, I can see him trying to get sympathy.
Oh,
he's just like, you're sad and you're alone and your life is shit and you just game all day, and like, fucking put him behind bars till he rots.
You should see how many police interrogation videos of sex offenders who have the exact same speech lined up because they want to elicit sympathy.
I'm a sad boy. All right, let's play the video.
A man who used artificial intelligence to create child images from normal photos has been jailed for 18 years.
My mind is very corrupted and warped.
27-year-old Hugh Nelson used a 3D computer program to transform ordinary, non-explicit photos of children into deepfake characters, which he'd then sell child images of. He took requests from people online and says a lot of these characters were commissioned by their dads, uncles, and family friends. That means people who knew these children in real life would send him images to transform. The court heard that Hugh went on to encourage clients children as well.
You have no job. You sit at home, you play games, you watch, you make these stupid goddamn images.
His case is the first time police have been able to link AI-generated images made by to real children, and it just reminds us how far innocent photos posted online can go, because this kind of technology is sadly on the rise.
That is, it's an
you sit online and then you go to play video games.
It's really hard for him. I feel really bad.
It's really hard for you to just jack off to porn all day. Sorry, I interrupted you to make fun of him.
It sounded like you were doing the Elon.
Doc Mega.
I'm Doc Gothic Mega.
I'm Doc Gothic Mega.
That's an MO of SOs in general, that they feel extreme self-pity, and they very rarely center the victims into any of their regrets or their sadness. It's usually about how hard their own lives are and like why they had to be like this or what led them down this path. But it's never any sort of, not never, but often it's never a, I can't believe I hurt these people, these kids. I like made them suffer, or like the consequences. It's usually about self-pity. Yeah.
Self and pity. Oh, and the Weed Wife says, just like most essays on college campuses are perpetrated by the same few offenders, most people are not abusive pedophiles, but the minority who offend prolifically, eventually structuring their entire life around their capacity to offend.
Yes, thank you, Weed Wife, for bringing that up. Here. Which is why when you hear these statistics of, 1 in 5, 1 in 3 people, it's not because each one of those people had an individual person's experience. It's a lot of times offenders are
just repeat
prolific offenders.
Prolific, I feel like we should find a better word, because prolific sounds like a violinist that went to Carnegie Hall. You know what I mean? And not just a diddler.
Let's see, prolific synonym.
A rapist. Like in trials, they give sobbing apologies, but you can tell it's only because they've been convicted now. Yeah, you're crying because you got caught. Right? Yeah, is there another word?
Fertile.
Fertile.
Bounteous. Bountiful? No.
The average assailant has 10 victims minimum.
Which is why one of the reasons that the laws need to change around offenders until we can understand how to treat people like preemptively, because historically sex offenders get really short sentences, and a lot of times they are not violent in prison, right? And so they get out on good behavior, they get early release because they're the best little people when they're inside the prison. But it's because that's not, they're not going to fight other adults. They're going to offend. They're going to offend two little kids, and whatever goes on mentally in offenders in that way is usually compulsive, and they don't have appropriate treatment or support systems. And I'm not saying that they deserve it, but we don't know how to treat them effectively, and so we just release them back out, and the reoffense rate is almost
100%.
100%. Like,
their brains need to be studied.
Yes, but they get very short sentences, which is how these cycles just like keep perpetuating forever and ever and ever.
Well, let's talk about another pedophile. Let's bring him up.
Wait, how much time we have? Because
we got 5 minutes.
We'll bring it up briefly because I don't really have that much to say, but I definitely want to end. I want to talk about the Iranian woman as well.
Right. We'll do like 2 minutes on this guy, 2 minutes on Iranian woman.
She deserves more time than this guy. But I just wanted to bring up, you guys, have you followed any of the Epstein release tapes that have come out recently? I feel extremely frustrated by them personally. And I feel like this is happening with the Diddy information too. The Diddy information is coming out in drips and drabs, I believe, because of court things coming out. But they're both being treated like they're going to be teasing a new album drop, where it's like, which pedophiles is it going to be?
Like there's actual victims involved.
Yeah. And this guy, I don't know if he's a good or bad guy. His name's Michael Wolff. He's the one who wrote the book Fire and Fury, and he's the one who has all of these Epstein tapes, and he is slowly trickling them out on his fucking podcast. I don't have enough information to make a huge judgment call, but it really seems like he's trying to get listens. But he has like hundreds of hours of Jeffrey Epstein speaking to him about everything that happened. And yeah, he's dropping these little things before the election. Yeah, of course he was friends with Trump. Everybody fucking knows that. The people who like Trump are not going to give a shit. They're not going to change their vote now. It doesn't matter. No. Oh, yeah. Also, Prince Andrew. Oh, wow. He did it. No way. I can't believe Prince Andrew did all the things that he obviously did. And we already know that he did it. And he's not going to face consequences either because he's a member of the ruling class. We've all established this. Nothing's going to happen to Prince Andrew. So you releasing these little things and being like, bombshell evidence of Prince Andrew and Trump being with Jeffrey Epstein. You're like, yeah, dude.
The sky's blue.
We knew, yeah. Wow. We knew 5, 6, 10 years ago that was happening. Release the other people. I don't care what side they're on. Just fucking give the names up. I don't want to listen to your podcast, dude. Just say.
He's edging us.
I want to know who they are. I don't care whose team they're on. Tell the people who the people are. It's so annoying. And that's happening, it seems like, with the Diddy stuff, too. They keep naming these like mystery people who are going to get in so much trouble, and they're getting so scared it's going to come out. Oh my God, who's going to... It's not a soap opera. Like, just fucking say who it is.
Do you think they actually don't know and they're just trying to tease up a big game? It's kind of like...
I don't know, because what we've learned from the Diddy stuff, at the very least, hundreds of people saw this happening. I don't know if you've listened to any... Oh my gosh, you guys, if you haven't watched this one interview, there's an interview on the channel Soft White Underbelly. He's a controversial figure, but he does these really compelling interviews. A lot of them are from Skid Row, but he covers a lot of different parts of the country. Some people consider him extremely exploitative. But he does talk to people who are marginalized and who are considered others, and lets them talk on camera. I think there's some benefit to that. But he did an interview with this woman who is on, I believe, from Skid Row, who claimed she was at a Diddy party a few years ago and said like she didn't like talking about it because nobody believed her. And then he just brought her back on. You guys really should go find this interview. And she describes being taken to a freak off party. And she's clearly telling the truth. I mean, I wouldn't have called her a liar in the first place, but she was like, yeah, there were she didn't say names because she was scared, but she's like, and I don't blame her. She's not, you know, I'm not trying to say she needs to say the names, but celebrities, like famous, like Instagram models, and really dark stuff that she saw happening, like with minors and stuff, she said was happening around her. And she literally ran out of the party without her shoes because she got so freaked out by it. But Diddy was trying to like take her into his bedroom and she was like, no, thank you. But
it's a horror movie.
I know. And that's the thing that I was saying about those freak off parties. They sound horrible.
Yeah.
Like the kind of shit that like, you know, like Diddy and Epstein, those guys consider to be a fun time sounds so awful. Those freak off parties were starting at 6 a.m.
Yeah, I couldn't. That'd be too sleepy. I wouldn't be invited to get go. I think they do it because they get off on people not having a good time.
I guess so.
Yeah, it's almost like they're bad people.
I guess you just have to be on like 12 drugs. It sounds so scary to me.
No, I went to an after party one time. It started at 2 a.m. and I passed out in the corner because I don't do cocaine. I was fine though, wasn't touched. I was fine.
I'm glad.
Because everybody's just on drugs and I don't like taking drugs, but I wanted to see what the afters was like, and I'd kind of wake up and peek and be like, and then go back to sleep. But it was, you know. I've
been to a couple after parties, but they're not, like, they were like just drunk punk kids, just like,
right.
The worst thing that happened is like somebody like hit a mailbox with a brick. You know what I mean? Like,
right.
That was kind of the extreme end of it. I can't imagine. Even the wealthy or the like celebrity people I've been around, I'm very lucky that I was just not around anybody who acted like that.
Yeah.
Like even the party animals I was around here, I can't imagine showing up in a house like that and just seeing all this weird horrifying shit like happening and just being like, I just wanted to like dance a little bit or something.
Too much.
Why are there people like hanging from the ceiling and screaming and shit? Going on a tangent, guys.
Yeah, so we have one more quick and then the fun and then we go.
Wait, okay, so sorry.
It's about power, people.
Oh, wait, I want to say the one funny thing. Okay. Wait. Not funny, but interesting thing that has been released on the Epstein tapes. According to Jeffy, the first time that Trump and Melania fucked was on Lolita Express on the plane.
Didn't Trump have Lolita Express for his campaign trail?
He had a different Epstein plane. It wasn't Lolita Express.
Right.
He had one of other other Epstein planes.
I mean, I guess to play devil's advocate, there's probably only like 10 private jets. I don't know.
No, I think there's a lot more.
There's a lot more? Well, I'm too poor to know that number.
Yeah, you're too poor to know how many jets there are.
I'm too poor to know how many private jets there are. But there is a woman in Iran.
Complete shift of story.
Shifting.
Because we have to, No Dogs is coming up after this, so we have to cut it off pretty soon.
Go.
But I wanted to just bring this woman up because she is a hero, and also it's incredibly enraging because she's now disappeared. Her name has not been released, most likely for her safety, and I think that's probably for the best. But there is an Iranian college woman who she was at university and she was getting harassed because she wasn't wearing her headscarf. Can you scroll down a little bit? So you can see an image of her here. It's a lot of the people who have decided that they own the clip of her walking around won't allow you to download the videos, but you can find it online. She is like literally because she was getting harassed for not wearing a headscarf, she took all of her clothes off and was walking around in her underwear as a means of protest to be like, you can't. Like she was getting accosted, like her clothes were getting ripped because she was showing her hair.
And she was like, fuck it, you rip my clothes, I come off like this. And then you watch the video and you don't realize how shocking it is until you see the
juxtaposition of it.
And you're like, oh my God.
Well, not only that, like her doing that, it would be a little shocking in another country, but in a place where being covered in that way is enforced in that way.
Right.
It is people are like she might as well have just like ripped her own arm off. There people are just like shocked. And
women have to fight for our own rights. I mean, in Saudi Arabia, women weren't just given the rights to drive. I used to live in Saudi back when women couldn't drive. And you know why women can drive now? Is because they just started driving.
Yeah.
And they all said, collectively in the own female tents, they said, all right, let's start driving. Now, the first few women, we don't know where they are right now.
Yeah, and they're heroes.
But then every woman was like, well, I guess we're all going to die then. And then how are you going to make more men? Basically.
Can you show the picture of her again real quick? I just want to throw one out to her. She is currently missing or taken, whatever you want to call it. But this is an incredibly brave, badass fucking warrior thing to do, that she just said, no, I'm not doing this. I'm not going to be, you can't just like do this to women. And she did that, and she was beaten for it. She was beaten, and she was taken away for it. So I just wanted to, send power, whatever you fucking pray, whatever, that she will end up being okay. But regardless, it's so fucking
We're gonna start
badass
seeing more
that she did that.
I think.
Yeah. And so just, power to her, man.
Shall we just get to the last video and then Boogie?
Yeah. Let's have a smile.
A smile.
We are coming.
Do not come. Do not come.
I'm coming. I don't want you to come. I'm gonna come.
They're cheering and they're excited to see President come.
Hillary's coming. Oh.
As we came, we saw, he died.
That's right. I'm going to come.
Don't you come.
No.
Don't do it. Who was that? Capricorn Cuts? Who was the creator?
Oh, there was,
Sorry, we want to credit.
It comes in the, I thought it appears. It's cats. What? Microplastic cat.
Microplastic cats. I was not even remotely close.
Right.
Microplastic cats.
Right. You have to say who they are when we show it, because we don't want to steal anything. We just want to leave with a bit of a gall. But you know who's coming next? Is
No Dogs
in Space. So stick around, and they're talking about music. I think they're going to talk about this German exploration band called Moi Moi.
Moi Moi?
Yeah.
Oh.
They sing with their feet.
Vote, please.
Go vote.
Go. Do it.
Go.
Please. Vote.
This show is made possible by listeners like you. Thanks to our ad sponsors, you can support our shows by supporting them. For more shows like the one you just listened to, go to lastpodcastnetwork.com.
Hey, this is Will Arnett, host of Smartless. Smartless is a podcast with myself and Sean Hayes and Jason Bateman, where each week one of us reveals a mystery guest to the other two. We dive deep with guests that you love, like Bill Hader, Selena Gomez, Jennifer Aniston, David Beckham, Kristen Stewart, and tons more. So join us for a genuinely improvised and authentic conversation filled with laughter and newfound knowledge to feed the Smartless mind. Listen to Smartless now on the SiriusXM app. Download it today.
Hey everybody, Conan O'Brien here with an ad about my podcast, Conan O'Brien Needs a Friend. I've had so many fantastic conversations with people I truly admire, people like Michelle Obama, Bruce Springsteen, Maya Rudolph, Tom Hanks. New episodes are out every Monday, and we have a really good time, so subscribe and listen wherever you get your podcasts.